And now it's time to award our Bike of the Year honors on the newest motorcycle from Japanese bike builder Honda, the Valkyrie Rune. According to Honda, the radical custom you see before you has been in the works since 1996. That's when the motorcycle stylists at Honda's California R&D Center were first encouraged to push the limits of the just-launched Goldwing-based stripped-down tour Valkyrie. The result of this exercise led to the public release of 4 mock-ups dubbed T1, 2, 3, and 4. In the end, T2 proved to be the most popular, but critics said Honda would never actually produce such a radical machine. Well, as you can see, the critics were wrong. Earlier this summer, the Rune was born. And talk about a beautiful baby. At the heart of this rolling work of art is an 1832cc, horizontally opposed, fuel-injected 6-cylinder engine with a 6 and a 2 exhaust. The engine is then wrapped by a diamond-shaped aluminum frame that sports the largest brakes ever fitted on a production Honda motorcycle. And what about the trailing bottom fork up front and Pro-Link rear suspension out back? Not to mention the styling details such as the seamless tank, flush-mounted LED taillights, and the recessed tank-mounted instruments. As for the chrome, well, if I owned a Rune, I'd have to carry a soft cloth on every journey. This thing just drips chrome.
Well, Warren, we were so anxious to shoot this motorcycle that we were willing to shoot it in the rain. And I've got my polishing cloth. I'm covered in lint here. But, you know, like, the comments that I've heard about this bike when people see it for the first time, they're awestruck. The question I have to ask you is, why did Honda build this bike? Why did they feel the need to do this?
Well, that's a pretty common reaction. What we've been hearing from people is they can't believe it's a Honda. They can't believe that Honda would do this. It seems so sort of unlike what Honda normally does in terms of, you know, fettling our machines down to the smallest, you know, lightest, most functional package. And this one, obviously, there have been some compromises done for style, and that's not sort of not Honda's traditional way. But I think what Honda was trying to do was just make a very sort of strong statement that we consider ourselves a market leader for a good reason. We, you know, we enjoy the most number of sales. We also are winning the World Championship. You know, we've sort of overcome the, let's say, the traditional engineering challenges that are out there.
Yeah.
And we wanted to sort of establish ourselves and say, hey, this is Honda. We can do anything we want. You know, we have that strength, and so we wanted to make a style statement. And the Rune is important for 2 reasons. First, it isn't your typical Honda. It's sort of all about the look, all about the style, all about the statement. But also, it is an engineering challenge for us too, because of course, being a Honda, it has to work.
Right.
So we can't just make a beautiful looking piece of art. It also has to function as a motorcycle. And the sort of combination of the two was quite a serious engineering challenge. So, you know, Honda is all about challenge and the power of dreams. So it was a new direction for Honda and a new challenge.
So as the Honda technical guru who appears on our show every week and gives us all the advice on all things technical, what's the one thing that impresses you the most about this motorcycle?
Well, I think that the biggest challenge that these guys had in talking to the project leader is the exhaust system. As you can see, it has a very, very short exhaust. So
sure.
the silencer, you know, section is very, very short. It's a very big engine, has a lot of volume of gas to get out. Of course, since it is a production motorcycle, it has to meet all the government sound restrictions and so on and so forth. So to make an exhaust that's so short and have sufficient volume for performance and to meet the sound emissions and so on and so forth and incorporate all the things that exhaust has to have, you know, it is hard enough. But then to turn around and make it sound right, and again, bear in mind on a bike like this, the sound is very, very important. So,
right.
So not only did it have to look exactly like the concept, which is what we'd sort of committed to do, but it had to function in terms of the things that our exhaust are primarily intended to do, to, you know, burn cleanly, burn smoothly, and quiet the sound. But then it also had to have a really, really nice sound. In terms of the riding experience, it's a motorcycle, and it's a Honda motorcycle. It functions very well. You know, all the people that have ridden it, myself included, were actually quite surprised at how easy it is to ride, how fun it is to ride, how functional it is as a motorcycle, in spite of the really radical appearance of it and dimensions of it. So in trying to execute and stay true to the style, but make it work, was a huge challenge for the engineers. And there were a lot of new technologies that had to be developed and a lot of new manufacturing methods that had to be developed to make this a reality.
Right.
So it was quite a challenge.
So here's another challenge, selling them. How many are these are going to be available to Canadians?
They're going to be very limited in number. It isn't a one-year bike. We do plan to make them for more than 1 year, but they will be very limited in number. All we're really saying at this point is there will definitely be less than one per dealer. Probably we're looking at, if you already don't have a deposit on one, you probably won't get one. They're going to be very limited in number. It is intended to be very much a sort of limited production, you know, high profile, high prestige model, and will be priced accordingly.
Well, we hear the Rune will be priced in the 30 to 35K range, and to us, that sounds like a pretty fair deal. After all, it rides like you're floating over the road. It sounds like an old Merc Cruiser. It looks like a one-off Radical Custom, and it's very exclusive. All key features and benefits that made it easy for us to choose the Honda Valkyrie Rune, our motorcycle experience Bike of the Year.